You have a patient in septic shock, you've initiated early goal directed therapy, pushed aggressive fluids, and the vasopressors are holding. But despite a stable mean arterial pressure, the kidneys darken, the lungs fail, the brain slips into delirium. The monitor shows hemodynamic optimization. Yet the creatinine climbs, the PO2 drops, and the patient develops encephalopathy. Medical training often frames multiple organ dysfunction syndrome as a simple failure of plumbing. The idea that systemic hypoperfusion starves tissues of oxygen and that restoring pressure should fix the problem. Euvolemic patients continue to die of organ failure. Pressure based monitoring misses the primary driver of this collapse because the true mechanics of organ damage aren't related to blood flow alone. The engine driving this collapse is the breakdown of organ crosstalk, the biochemical communication network that links every system in the body. In a healthy state, cellular pathways, solutes, and neurohormones run continuous feedback loops to maintain systemic homeostasis. During severe infection, these feedback loops become toxic. Failing organs actively secrete mediators that travel through the blood and damage distant, otherwise healthy tissues. Treating sepsis requires looking past the individual organs to manage this volatile, interconnected biochemical network. This flowchart shows systemic collapse begins with the innate immune system's reaction to infection. Pathogen and damage markers, PAMPs and DAMPs, trigger immune receptors like TLR4, launching a hyperinflammatory response. To mount this defense, cells undergo metabolic reprogramming, switching energy production from oxidative phosphorylation to glycolysis. While glycolysis provides a rapid energy burst for immune cells, it is macroscopically inefficient, leaving the rest of the body with a severe energy deficit. This deficit pairs with the release of inflammatory cytokines like IL-6 and TNF alpha to compromise cellular function in every tissue. The localized tactics used to fight infection actively bankrupt the body's energy reserves, triggering the wide scale breakdown of organ communication. This diagram outlines the cardiorenal pulmonary loop, showing these three organs are entangled through chemical signaling. When sepsis triggers acute kidney injury, the failing kidney initiates systemic toxicity. Uremic molecules like indoxyl sulfate accumulate in the blood, acting as remote signaling toxins reaching other organs. In the heart section, we see the myocardium behaving as an endocrine organ. It secretes cardiokines, including BNP, IL-6, and angiotensin II, driving vasoplegia and oxidative stress across the system. The lungs exacerbate this loop. During ARDS, production of inflammatory mediators increases, flooding the systemic circulation. Cardiorenal syndrome type 5 is the direct result of this loop. In sepsis, organs actively induce failure in one another via these chemical messengers. This layout shows the flow between the gut, liver, and brain, a primary network for metabolic and inflammatory regulation. Normally, the gut microbiome acts as a symbiotic endocrine organ, dictating systemic immune responses and maintaining homeostasis. Sepsis induced hypoperfusion reconfigures this microbiome into a toxic pathobiota, which destroys the enteric barrier. This catastrophic barrier collapse allows endotoxins like LPS to enter the portal system, directly injuring the liver. The liver responds by altering its secretion of hepatokines, such as FGF21 and adiponectin, inducing systemic insulin resistance and cardiovascular dysfunction. This metabolic failure halts the gut's production of short chain fatty acids and tryptophan. Because 95% of the body's serotonin is produced from that tryptophan in the gut, this failure destabilizes blood brain barrier homeostasis. This biochemical chain reaction from gut pathobiome to liver dysfunction to neurotransmitter depletion is the mechanism behind sepsis associated encephalopathy. This reveals an iatrogenic paradox. The life-saving interventions used in the ICU can actively disrupt these delicate communication networks. Broad-spectrum antibiotics and proton pump inhibitors carpet bomb the commensal gut bacteria. These routines, highlighted here, accelerate the shift towards a pathobiome, destroying the very systems that regulate the inflammatory response. Mechanical ventilation and renal replacement therapy add further mechanical and chemical stresses that alter immune signaling. Clinicians must use these tools to sustain life, yet they must also account for how these tools destabilize the body's intrinsic communication. Relying on isolated biomarkers like lactate or creatinine is insufficient for predicting the onset of multiple organ dysfunction. The future of critical care lies in metabolomics and data fusion, tracking hundreds of crosstalk mediators simultaneously. The goal is to map the functional architecture of a patient's biochemical network in real time in order to identify their specific sepsis phenotype. To defeat sepsis, you must manage the plumbing, but you will only save the patient if you monitor and repair the network of organ crosstalk.